Okay, so this section we will talk about the 7.7 dot product. Okay, so the publisher did not provide the PowerPoint slides, so you have to bear with me, bear with my handwriting. Okay, so first we will introduce the definition. So if v equal to a vector a1i plus b1i, w equal to another vector, and the dot product is defined as v dot w is equal to a1 times a2 plus what? b1 times b2. Okay, so there is a very important thing about the dot product. The dot product of two vectors are numbered, so keep this in mind. Okay, later on in calculus you will learn the cross product, which will be a vector. So this is a major difference between dot product and the cross product. Okay, so the property of dot product, if u, v, w are vectors, c is a scalar, then u dot v equal to v dot u. We can immediately tell a1 times a2 and a2 times a1. That's the same thing. So then you can also make distribution. So you can also make distribution a1 times a2 plus all these things. And any vector 0 dot product with v is 0. So it's 0, 0 here, yeah. So 0 times any number is also 0. So that's obvious. But be careful. Okay, so here on the left side, what do I have there? That is a 0 vector. On the right side, I didn't forget the arrow here because this is a number 0. So these are the major difference. Okay, these are major difference. The next property is the dot product with itself is what? The square of the magnitude. So v equal to a1 b1. Dot product is using the formula is a1 times a1 squared plus b1 squared. And the magnitude is square root of a1 squared plus b1 squared. So we know that, this one is the square. Okay. So the next one is the dot product of a scalar as a vector. Yeah, so the scalar can be moved to outside or move to the other vector. That's typical. Okay, so the next question we want to look at some examples here. So we have 4. What is u dot v? Using the formula, what will we do? It's a1 a2 plus b1 b2. Yeah, so 3 times 2 plus -1 times 1. Yeah. So what do we have? 6 minus 1 is 5 times 4 is what? 20. Okay, so then the next one is what? U dot v plus u dot w. So what is u dot v? It will be what? a1 a2 is what? a1 a2, yeah. So what will you have there? 3 times 2 plus -1 times 1. U dot product with w is 3 times 1 plus -1 times 7. So what do you have? 6 minus 1 plus 3 minus 7. 9 minus 8 is 1. So v dot v. What is v dot v? Is the magnitude what? Square. That is what? a1 square. No. That will be, I will not use a1 by anymore. Okay, so that will be what? The first component square, 2 square plus what? 1 square, which will be 5. Because you do not have square root anymore because it's square, then it's gone. Okay, so then the next formula is an alternative formula for dot product. So if v, w are two non-zero vectors, as theta is the smallest non-negative angle between them, so v dot w is equal to what? vw cosine theta. Okay, so this is another formula, and it's most useful for the reformation of this formula. is to find, if I give you two vectors, you want to find the angle in between, what will you do? Okay, so you can divide the magnitude away, divide by magnitude w on both sides. You can get cosine theta equal to this, and then theta equal to cosine inverse. But where does this formula come from? So I wanted to show you here. So think about this as VW, yeah. So think about this, because what do you have here? You have a V. If you have a W, what will be this side? It will be V minus W, yeah. So this is when we talk about what? The sum, or the difference of two vectors. So the vector in between here is V minus W. Okay, so if we know the point is a1, b1, a2, b2 here, so what is V? a1 plus b1, with the vectors a2i plus b2j. Do you remember what is V minus W? It can also be what? The terminal minus what? The initial, yeah? So it will be what? A1 minus A2 plus what? B1 minus B2. Yeah? Okay, so because it makes a triangle, we can also, use what? Law of cosine. What means law of cosine? It will be I will write any one of them, yeah? So it will be c squared equal to what? A squared plus what? B squared minus 2ab cosine of c, yeah? Yeah, so do you remember? Yeah, so it will be the square of this side, v minus w squared equal to what? V squared plus w squared minus 2v w cosine theta. And here is the magnitude, or the magnitude here, yeah? And when you do the the square here, excuse me, and then you know that it will be what? According to the magnitude square from last example, we know that, it will equal to this, a1 squared, a2 squared, yeah? Okay, so what will you do here? You foil it, and then cancel the similar terms. What do you notice? Equal to what? a1, a2 plus b1, b2 is magnitude v, magnitude w, cosine theta. And what is a1, a2 plus b1, b2? That is v dot product with w. Yeah, so this is where the formula come from. So it's come from law of cosine, actually. Okay, so the deduction of this formula is not required for you guys to remember it, but I strongly recommend you to deduce it by yourself, because it's a practice of using the dot product and all the concepts related with dot product, and also a practice of law of cosines. Okay, so this is this one. So if we have given v equal to this, w equal to this, how could we find the angle in between? Do you remember what is the formula? Cosine theta equal to v dot w over the magnitude of v magnitude of w, yeah? So this is the angle in between. So what is v dot product with w? It's 4 times negative 4, yeah? The first with the first, plus negative 5 times with negative 1. So it will be square root of 4 squared plus negative 5 squared times what? Square root of negative 4 squared plus what? Negative 1 squared. Okay, so what do we have here? Negative 16 plus 5. What do you have here? Square root of 16, 25 is 41. Square root of 17. Yeah, so we have negative 11 over square root of 41 times 17. Okay, so negative angle, what happens here? We know this is in quadrant what? 2. With me? So then what will be cosine inverse? Okay, so what will be the angle here? Theta will be what? Cosine inverse of negative 1 over 41 times 17. Okay, actually I cheated here. Okay, so what is the angle you will get? It's 114.6 degrees. So in order not to forget, I have already put it here. Now I will make it disappear. Okay, so this is this one. Okay, so you use the formula to find cosine theta and then find the cosine inverse. Okay, that is the angle. So the orthogonal angles, orthogonal vectors. So what means two vectors are orthogonal with each other? Two non-zero vectors v and w are orthogonal if and only if the dot product is what? 0. So think about why. Because dot product is magnitude v, magnitude w times cosine. Because magnitude are both non-zero, so cosine has to be 0. Cosine equal to 0 when theta is between 0 and pi. Theta has to be equal to what? Pi over 2. So it has to be what? 90 degrees. So how could you check whether two vectors are orthogonal or not? You wanted to check v dot w equal to 0 or not, yeah? So v dot w, what is v dot w here? Is negative 1 times what? Negative 1 coefficient, plus what? Negative 1 times 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1, minus 1 is what? 0. Then orthogonal. Very easy to check, yeah? Very easy to check. Okay, so the next one is a little bit complicated. It's called what? Projection of one vector to another one. So we wanted to see project this vector v to w. So what do we want? What means projection? Is like, okay, so you draw a vertical line to w, yeah. Okay, so and then the part here is called projection v to w. Are you with me? So the projection of v to w, this vector has what? The same direction of what? Vector w. Vector w, yeah. So it has the same direction because it's project to w here. Are you with me? In order to find this vector, what do we need? We need what? Magnitude add direction, yeah? Okay, so what will be the magnitude? So magnitude, if we know the angle theta here, so this will be what? Adjacent, yeah? Adjacent side. So it's magnitude of v times what? Cosine theta. So this is the magnitude. What is the direction? Direction comes from what? Your unit vector, yeah? So direction comes from the unit vector. You with me? So what will be the unit vector? Is what? W over the magnitude of W, yeah? So that will give you the direction of this vector. So this is very, very important. This is very, very important. Okay, so we should not use product here because here this is what? A magnitude. This is what? A direction here. Keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. Okay. Okay, so then what do we have here? What is cosine theta? What is cosine theta again? It's v dot w over v magnitude v times magnitude w, yeah? So v can cancel. What do you have on the bottom? W square. And then you have v dot with w. And this is what? A number. Because v dot w is a number. Magnitude square is also a number. So a number times a vector. So, as maybe we will not call it a number. That's a scalar. Okay, guys, be careful. This is a scalar. So this is, we do not even to have dot product anymore. Because this is a scalar. This is a vector here. Okay. Okay, so the next definition here is what? Let v, w be two vectors. So we wanted to have decomposition of the vector. V equal to v1 plus v2, where v1 is parallel to w, v2 is orthogonal to w, then v1 will be equal to projection V to W, and V2 equal to what? V minus V1. Okay, so what will be the picture? So V1 will be this, yeah? So it will be projection here. So then this is your V2. Yeah, so it's similarly as before. What do we have? So this is your, which color will be better? Yeah, so this is your V1, this is your V2. So V1 plus V2 is what? V. So because these are vectors, then add together equal to V, yeah? V1 plus V2 equal to V, yeah? So this is why you have all these kind of formulas, okay? Okay, so then when we look at what will we do, we will look at the next example here. Okay, so example. So what will be project of V to W? Yeah, so it will be what? V dot with what? W over the magnitude W squared multiply with the vector W. Yeah, so what will be V dot W? We have what? Negative 10 times 1 plus what? 8 times 1, yeah? So I coefficient multiply together plus what? Y coefficient multiply. So what do you have? Negative 2. What will be the magnitude W squared? That will be what? 1 squared plus 1 squared is what? 2. So what do we have? Is negative 2 over 2 times W. W is what? I plus what? J. Yeah? So we have a negative 1 I plus what? J. So what do we have? Negative I minus what? J. Yeah? So this is the first part. The second part, decomposition. What will be V1? V1 equal to what? The project of VW, yeah? So that is what? Negative I minus J. What will be V2 then? V2 is V minus what? V1. So it's negative 10I plus 8J subtract negative I minus J. Be careful of the signs, yeah? Negative, negative, plus 1. So negative 9I. 8 minus 1 is plus, is 9J. Yeah, so it's negative 9I plus 9J. Are you okay? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so the next thing we wanted to define here is the work. So what will be the work? So W will be done by F, moving an object from A to B. Yeah. So when we talk about the work in physics, we always think about, we want to find the work along that direction. We want to find the distance along the direction of the force. That will be what? Your work. Okay. So because we always wanted to find, it will involved with what? Directions. Yeah. So now we wanted to make a definition. So work is actually equal to F dot with what? AB, where these two things are what? Vectors. Yeah, vectors is what? Is a directed line segment. Yeah, so it not only has the magnitude, it also gives you direction. So life can be super easy. You do not need to find so many things, and you only need to know, okay, so what is the direction? If you know the vector, yeah, so it can be easily calculated. And the dot product of the two vectors is equal to what? The magnitude of F times the magnitude of AB times the cosine theta, where the theta is the angle in between. Yeah. So then when we look at the example, a wagon is pulled along ground level by exerting a force of 38 pounds on a handle, makes the angle 45 degrees. Yeah, so 45 degrees. 45 degrees, yeah, with the horizontal. How much work is done pulling the wagon? Okay, so what will it be? W equal to what? F AB cosine theta. What do you have here? 38 times 90 times cosine 45. And you can get it. That's the end of this section. Sorry.